Yo, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. I am the Outlaw, John Rocha. On this lovely Friday morning, I'm totally backlit by the beautiful sun here going on, because you know what? That's what it's like in California, sun all the time. So, as I tweeted out already, and as I let people know on numerous social media sites, today is the day where I welcome my special guest. He is one half of the tag team, current tag team champions in the Schmoedown. He is also a former singles champion numerous times over. And also, if I can say my own personal feelings, he's also a very, very good friend of mine. And he is the GOAT, Dan Murrell. How are you, Dan?
John, it's like a halo, John.
Right. If only they knew. If only they knew.
How you doing, John?
Good. How are you, man?
What's been going on?
I don't know. Has there been any kind of drama going on in the world?
No,
I don't
quiet.
know. Yeah, pretty chill situation. But yeah, a lot of people are going on. A lot of people are, commenting about all the stuff that happened.
Sure.
And we Riley was on yesterday on his roundtable with Finstock, and I thought it'd be kind of fun if you had time this morning to stop by to talk about everything that's been going on. I know you're preparing. We've been having numerous conversations about this Schmoedown live event that's happening here on February 29th. Let me see if I can bring up the thing. February 29th. Right there. Look at that little graphic there. It is Ben the Boss Bateman versus Dangerous Dan Murrell. Ben being the current champion, of course. And then, of course, on the other card, we have another member of the Finstock Exchange.
Yes.
That's right. Emily the Rose Jacobson versus Alex the Demon Damon there. So, looking forward to that. And apparently, there's like 10 tickets left or something like that. So go get your tickets if you're watching this now. But all this drama broke out yesterday due to some machinations on the Bateman side, but a little bit on Finstock also not being 100% on top of this stuff. But tell me your overall impressions about everything that happened over the last couple of days.
Well, let me say this first.
Sure.
The Exchange we're like the Avengers of the movie trivia.
I like this.
And everyone, all of the other managers, particularly, and I'm not as in it. I'm not as in it as a lot of other people. But I see what happens. I see the Shannons and the Roxys and the other managers out there that are doing their job, by the way.
Yeah.
And staying in the game. But we're like the Avengers, and they're like the Lokis sitting in that little glass cell. Just waiting for us to start fighting with each other. So
yes, true, very true.
So they're getting they think they're getting what they want.
Yes,
but the fact of the matter is, and I think and Finstock has said this, and Ben has said this. I've heard you say this, and Riley. When you're dealing with a faction like this, especially in a situation like this, there's gonna be some growing pains.
Yeah.
Now, the only criticism that I'll make is I think the communication should have been better internally between all of us.
Sure.
Like I said in the Facebook post that I made yesterday. The first time anyone contacted me directly about any of this stuff was yesterday.
Yeah.
Ben Bateman called me yesterday, and even then we were on a different page than our manager because I talked to Ben and it's like, okay, he kind of explained to me his thinking and I saw his point.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I've talked to John about strategy and stuff, but I haven't talked to him about this. Let me talk to John.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Yeah. We'll talk to Finstock. And then the next thing I know, there's announcements being made and all breaks loose.
Yeah.
This is we can work on our communication. It's early in the season.
True.
It's a weird situation.
Yes, to say the least.
I think the other factions and the other managers know that their best bet at beating us is to break us up.
Yes, absolutely.
Is to cause drama, to capitalize on any drama. So, yes, this could have been handled better. This could have been an easier situation. But the fact of the matter is, we worked it out.
Yeah.
It's done. It's settled. And now we go to Atlanta. And by the way, we have the belts. Yeah. We have the belt no matter what.
No matter what, we have the belt, and that's what matters here in the Finstock Exchange. The thing that was interesting, too, all around, I think you're absolutely right. I think communication is the issue. And look, I'm a passionate one. Ben, and thank God Ben and Dan are very calm people. And Finstock, for the most part, is a calm person. But, I'm kind of the passionate dude in the faction. I'm the one that gets nuts. Riley will occasionally spike up, but Riley's pretty chill himself. So when I was on SEN, I was just frustrated because I'm the kind of person who likes to have parameters. Once you give me the parameters, I'm a military guy. once you give me what the mission is, what the parameters of the mission are, I can function within the parameters, and I can be, troubleshooting or whatever. Yeah. I can do all of that. But I was just concerned for you, and as your teammate, frustrated that this was something that was still in the air, because as far as 3 weeks ago, it had been my assumption, because of text conversations I'd had with Finstock, that I was managing you, and you were managing, and Finstock was managing Ben. Yeah. And so I thought that's what was going down. Christian booked a flight for me to Atlanta to manage you, or else I probably wouldn't have been going. So for it to all of a sudden be a surprise for Ben, initially I thought Ben was not being truthful, but then when I talked to Tom and talked to Roxy, it seemed to be very clear that Ben didn't even know until this weekend, according to him.
Well, and listen, Ben is a great strategic mind.
He is.
Ben
absolutely
always running the numbers.
Yes.
Much like me with the box office. He's always running the numbers. He's always trying to figure out and make. I mean, I've seen the guy analyze the wheel. Mm-hmm. I mean, he'll look at the wheel, look at every category, and crunch the thing, and you can see the wheels turning in his head. Like he has an analytical mind, mm-hmm. when it comes to this game. And when we spoke yesterday, I think his thinking was that because you are an elite player in this game,
sure,
and Finstock is a fantastic manager, but has not had as much time in the game. Is not studying like you're studying as an active player. Right. That I may have an advantage, because you might have some insight into a question that might be wrong, or an answer that might be wrong. I understand that. I mean, honestly, I still think it's a wash, because Finstock's the manager of the year. He's managed so many championship teams. Mm-hmm.
In critical matches. Live and not live. And
I think that he has a strategic mind as well. So in my mind, those two things offset each other. And so, and like I said, when I talked to Ben, I mm-hmm. said, let's figure this out. Let's figure this out. Yeah. So I feel like everything that's happened that people say causes divisions, the draft thing, which is all communication.
Yeah.
And this, which is all communication. Yeah. It happens. But the fact of the matter is, we got to keep going, and we got to stay strong, because right now the only people that can beat us is us. Yes. If we allow these divisions, and the other factions are going to exploit these divisions. Yep. I've seen. Chandru was stirring up the pot yesterday. Not stirring the pot, but saying like, "Hey, Dan, there's some people with swag that I know."
Yeah. Chandru should probably keep his mouth shut before he, do something first in this league, then open your mouth. I didn't mind when Kalinowski said some stuff yesterday as well. Shannon Barney, I respect that. She's a heel manager. She's going to make her comments, what she said, a bunch of bitches and things of that nature. But, that's the heel game that's in our league. I mean, she should worry about winning a match before she makes comments. As a manager, before she makes comments about us. But that's neither here nor there. But, a lot of people jumped on it. Winston was next to me, and immediately on SEN was trying to work us coming over to swag. And certainly Roxy's been doing this since the beginning. She's been jumping in there, kind of needling the situation.
And you mentioned that,
and we both love Roxy.
We do, yes. She's doing her job.
Yes, absolutely, as a manager.
And you mentioned that you're the passionate one.
Yes.
In the faction, which we need.
Right.
But everyone else knows that.
They're
going to try to exploit that.
Yes,
so
true.
If they see a way to push your buttons, they're going to try to push those buttons.
Right. Which is what I try to be aware of as much as possible, especially now, because yes, it does come out in certain moments. But and I think at the end of the day, that's all we wanted was just a decision. And I want to say this: after I left SCN Live, I called you. We talked for a little bit. We decided, okay, if this is Tom's decision, then we are going to adjust our strategy and go forward. You were I just want to play, and that's one of the things I love about you, man, is you don't get caught up with too much of this other stuff on the outside. To you, it's like, let's get in there, and then we'll find out who knows what, and we'll see what the spin of the wheel does. And then Ben called me after I finished up with you, literally a minute later, timing-wise, was perfect, and we talked about it, and Ben was just like, I just think it's a bit of an advantage. If you can talk me out of it, I'm open to hearing. And so I just said to him, Tom has managed many, many matches, and he's been your manager for well over a year, so he knows where you go down, where you don't go down, where you might be in your head, things of that nature. He might be able to talk you out of it better than any other manager, any of us on the faction, because we, other than Riley, because we haven't, kind of played with you consistently in that kind of situation. And also, I said to him, the other thing that you could have a slight advantage here is that you managed Dan in that live event against Bibiani and Cole and the kid,
Mm-hmm.
and so you know what Dan is, what he knows and what he doesn't know. You might have an insight into the weaknesses in him as a player. So I said to yeah, right, fair. But I said the possibility exists that you might actually have the slight advantage here, having Riley and Tom on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Dan just has me. And so I think there's cases to be made on both sides, which is why I think there's so much drama and division in this situation, because there's cases to be made on both sides.
Yeah, there are, and like I said, that's what I said. I understand where Ben is coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do, and so it's settled, and again, this underscores again the difference in our gameplay.
Yes,
Ben is very game focused.
Yep.
He's focused on the game. He's focused on the wheel.
Yes.
He's focused on the odds. He's focused on this and that. What's going to come up? And I mean, like that is. I mean, look where that strategy's gotten.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten into the pinnacle.
Absolutely,
He's gotten him to the pinnacle. He is a champion, largely because of that approach.
Yeah.
But it only underscores the difference of approach. My focus is on me.
Yeah.
My focus is on what do I know, what do I not know,
right?
What do I need to study? What do I need to refresh myself on?
Right.
That's where I'm looking. I don't care about all this other stuff, really.
Yeah.
I'm looking at myself.
You're taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Right.
And it's a different approach.
Yeah.
Now, that's a much more myopic approach.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smaller approach. It's not as world-focused as Ben's approach. That's what I think makes this match so interesting. It's not just two good players of the game. It's two players who approach the game completely differently.
Yes.
Like Ben and I approach the game completely differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's going to make this a really interesting fight.
Yeah.
Because it's just like two different ways of prep and approaching and thing. It's like I know that he's going to be studying every syllable that comes out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm. And looking at the board.
It's such an interesting way to approach the game, a new way. I think he's really breaking new ground.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I think you're going to see a lot of players imitate his style because it has proven to be so successful. So that makes the match interesting to me. All this other stuff is background noise as far as I'm concerned. I will say the one precedent it does set, and where we may have an issue is, I think that it makes sense in the faction for this to happen, because hopefully this is going to happen many times when we're facing each other for championships. I think it's fair that the champions get our faction manager. Because it's the it was his rationale for drafting Ben first.
Yep.
I understand that. So my only thing would be, like, if we've set that precedent, then if we take care of business, and if Ben and Mark take care of business, and we face who's the boss for the belts, then I think it's only fair then that we get Finstock because we're the champion.
Yeah, interesting.
So if we're going to set that precedent, I'm fine. I'm fine with that precedent, but then now we have to stick to it. Because if we play who's the boss, but then Finstock goes with them, then that's when the wheels would start turning in my head to say, like, well, now wait a minute. Yeah. Like, I understand you going with the champ, and I have no problem with that.
Right.
But if we're in that situation again, we're the champs.
Right.
And so then we should get our factions manager.
I got to tell you, Dan, I hadn't even thought that far ahead. That's an interesting point you bring up. Look, this is the situation here, Season 7. Managers have never been more important. And Christian tells me all the time, managers get the final say. It's hard for me. Yeah. I'm an independent contracted player. In my mind, I willingly agreed to be part of this faction. Yeah. I didn't willingly agree to go with everything that Tom says. And I think that's where there could be some trouble here. And you make a great point. If they go with the... if we go with the precedent of the manager, faction manager goes with the champions, that could be a problem down the road if we do play who's the boss, because who deputizes in as manager has to be a faction person, who's in the faction that could really manage them in a situation against us. I wonder.
Or do we kind of find a free agent?
Right, a free agent manager
somebody that they're comfortable with. But the idea, the other thing precedent-wise that I think is, and Mara actually brought this up to me yesterday, and I didn't think about it, is... if you also set the precedent that having an active player or someone who's played the game as your manager is an inherent advantage, right? Then that causes trouble, not just for our faction, but for every other faction, because now, Roxy is a wonderful manager. Yes. But is not has never been an active player of the game. Right. So now if Roxy is managing a match against one of Sam's players. Well, now can the argument be made that Sam has an inherent advantage, or Sam's player, because Sam was an active player of the game and Roxy wasn't? Well, if you set this thing that a player or former player of the game has an advantage as a manager, it opens the whole Pandora's box. That I think should not be opened, because everyone brings their own strengths to the table as a manager. For example, for Roxy, she may not have the game strategic knowledge of Sam as far as like in-game experience, but she has a compassion and a passion and a caring and a love for her players that I think is unmatched across managers in this league. And that is its own advantage.
Yes.
Every manager has their own advantage. And we can't start saying one has an advantage over the others, because then it's just going to devolve into chaos. That's
a fair point, man. And this is something that, I think I don't usually give Finstock too much credit with some of the comments he makes, but this is something he did say yesterday, is that Christian should have planned out for this kind of stuff. But by that token, I don't necessarily say that he's right. I'm saying it's a legitimate gripe to have now in retrospect, because, we spent so much time creating this rule book and having all these things going on. There should be precedent laid out, and we're growing pains not only within our faction, but growing pains in the Schmoedown right now in Season 7 because of all these unusual circumstances that are popping up. So those are the kinds of things that I think Christian's going to have to come out and get in front of and Clark Wolf as the commissioner of the Schmoedown to say, this is the precedent going forward. These are the rules. Yes, the faction managers can do whatever they want to do within their faction. However, the overall commissioner or owner of the league has to set a guideline and a precedent for championship matches like this.
Yeah, to an extent, I agree, I guess, but I also don't. I think part of the reason we have managers is that I don't think it's either the chairman's or the commissioner's job to manage interfaction politics.
Right. No, but I mean
that's why you have managers.
Right, exactly, but I mean assigning the manager to the champion. Like that should be if it's a precedent we're going forward, it's got to be set by the commissioner and by Christian saying, this is the precedent going forward, so adjust accordingly when the situation happens. I don't want to hear any complaining later on down the road about it. Let me make a quick sideline here real quick. We spent talking about 20 minutes now. I want to let you all know, please, there's over 260 of you all in here. Thank you so much for joining us. Me and the GOAT Dan Murrell talking all kinds of Schmoedown from Season 7, all the drama that happened here. Please give us some likes. We're only at 95 likes. I'd like to get over 200 likes before the end of the stream, so would love it. And send in your Streamlabs, send in your Super Chats. Big shout out to Jake Iacovetta, who once again did a fantastic thumbnail for this show and, of course, is moderating the chat for me. We're going to jump into some Streamlabs now, if that's cool with you, Dan. I'll read them off, and I'll go in order of which they came. Let's see here. Okay, first one is from Andrew G. Wait. Justice
is that guy?
No. Let's see. Martin Tuttle says, Outlaw, longtime fan and top 10 patron here. On recommendation from Haley via Collider article, I recently gave Neon Demon a chance. I knew what it was and expected to dislike it, but was surprised to find I really enjoyed it. Then went to watch Drive, which I also thought was great, and Only God Forgives, which I felt was not as strong. I was wondering if you had seen / liked films from Refn, or had ever ended up liking a movie or genre you expected to hate. Do you like Nicholas Winding Refn's movies?
I'm not as don't tell Bateman this. It's not a wheel slice.
Good. Yeah. If Refn's ever a wheel slice, I'm out the game. I'm out the game.
I'm not as versed in them as I haven't seen Neon Demon. I saw Drive and I liked it. I didn't go quite as crazy for it as a lot of other people did. I think maybe it came in very hyped for me.
Okay.
I mean, I thought Albert Brooks was great. I mean, there was a lot of great stuff in it.
Sure.
But I have not seen a lot of his other movies. So I can't really. I don't have a quorum to judge from.
Is there a movie that you saw recently or in the last couple of years that you didn't expect to like and then you liked and you're like, wow, this is incredible, or this is damn good and I didn't anticipate it?
I remember being very surprised by Den of Thieves.
Okay, yeah, the Gerard Butler film.
It was one of the best movies of the year or anything, but it came out in January, so I was just like, oh boy, all right,
another Gerard Butler movie.
Gerard Butler January action movie,
Hunter Killer.
Oh God. But I actually came out of it going like, oh wow,
yeah,
okay, I like that movie.
Yeah, it was like Heat Light, but way more gritty.
Yeah,
and way more dirty in what it did, and I appreciated for that as well. And
yeah,
I do like Refn stuff. I did enjoy Drive. Only God Forgives was tough for me to get through. And what was the other one you mentioned?
Neon Demon.
Oh, Neon Demon. Neon Demon's an interesting experience of a movie, but because I like Malick stuff as well. Like Malick is an experience of a film. I don't go into a Malick film going, give me a narrative, give me a protagonist and antagonist. I just go, I'm going to just float on the water for 2 hours or 3 hours, however long it is. And I think Refn's like that. All right, Aaron Davidson finally catching a morning stream live. What a day to do so. How do you actually say your last name? It is Rocha. And that is Murrell. That's how you say his last name there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for the donation, Aaron. Ben Rayner, good morning, GOAT and Outlaw. Huge fan of you guys and the Horsemen in general.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's right. All right, and the next one is from Faisal Hadi. Hey, Dan, please convince Rocha to join you. Letterboxd, thanks in advance. Are you on Letterboxd?
Well, I am, but I may as well not be at this point.
Oh, okay.
Because people were using it against me.
Really? They were these little interesting things people do. You know, I do none of this. I do none of this, and I've won 4 titles.
No, I love Letterboxd. I really do. And I log the ones that I can because it helps me remember stuff. Yeah. But I also have to now keep a separate list of movies that I watch with dates that I can't do till like the end of the year. After the season's over, because I found out that there were some folks like Oyama and Chance and some of the young bucks who were going through and like looking at what I was watching and you know, they're like, oh, I know you've been watching a lot of, you watched 16 Candles last week. You're studying up on rom-coms. So now I'm on Letterboxd, but I can't log most of what I watch because people are studying.
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about being on Letterboxd. I've talked to Greg Alba about over Real Rejects. He's very and what's the other one, Stardust or whatever that is. I've thought about going on that as well. But honestly, I don't like everyone. My match for Oyama, everyone's like, oh, you got to get a Letterboxd account. You got to see what Paul's been watching, and I'm like, I don't like to do any of that. Let's get in the ring. Let's see how the swings go left and right. If I do too much thinking about what the other players bring into the table, I'll get lost in the minutia of it all. I've discovered that about myself.
I'm the same way. Yeah. I can't sit and run 15 different scenarios about what Ben might be doing.
Right.
Because it's just, it's especially in singles, it's endless.
It's endless.
I can only...
Whoa, there we go. All right.
It's just burst in the window.
There's Ben knocking on the window. Jesus.
No, I can only control what I do.
Yeah.
I can't control the questions that are asked, and I can't control what everyone else does. We're in the same shoes. And again, that's the difference. You know, I know that Ben spends probably a lot of time thinking about what I know, what am I going to do, etc. Again, I'm much more focused on like he's going to do what he's going to do, and you know, I have a rough idea maybe of what his strengths and weaknesses might be, but at the same time, like even with the wheel.
Yes.
I can't control what he says. I can control what I say and what I know.
And what he's going to spin. I'm going to fix this real quick.
All right.
Let me give it to Dan. Billy Belford said in. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate this. Super Chat. Hey, gents, what are your thoughts on some of the new wheel slices? Which are most exciting? Which are most worrisome? By the way, still weird supporting Horsemen. I even started watching Screen Junkies. I will try to adjust to it. Outlaw Nation, new Murrell order. Tell me, what do you think about the wheel slices there, Dan?
I mean, have they publicized what all the new ones are?
Yeah, well, some of them, yes, some of them, no.
I mean, I think that there's some that are. I mean, I don't want to go too far into it because I know that there's, you know, it's like a spy movie. It's like I know that, like, I feel like we should be playing music. It's like, shh, they're listening. But you know what I like is it's a really good mix. The new ones are a really good mix of different kinds of movies because you've got Spike Lee on there.
Yes, but
you also have Adam Sandler.
Yes, you know, there's a balance. Yeah, agreed.
You've got Anne Hathaway and Tyler Perry. You've got, you know, there's so many. You have the Coen brothers. Yep. And you also have, you know, Jim Carrey.
Yes.
I think that they really did, and I'm not sure exactly who. I'm sure it was probably Skalicki and PJ and the wonderful question writing team, and I don't know who else was in on choosing those categories. But I think with the new ones, they chose a really good variety of different kinds of films and filmmakers that really I think is going to mix up the sorts of movies that are being asked about more than it already is. So I do like the variety. Some of them are very challenging.
Yes.
Some of them are in areas that I know nothing about. Mm-hmm. Some of them play to my strengths. Some of them are things that I already know a lot about. So it's a good mix.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
There are a few wheel slices that really scare the hell out of me that I don't know too well. That one of them is certainly Tyler Perry, and I don't mind admitting that. I don't think anybody in the league is that schooled up on Tyler Perry, but I know that there are people getting schooled up on Tyler Perry to use it as a wheel slice down the road. And, you got to look at this free-for-all that's coming up, Dan. Whoever wins that free-for-all gets to use an opponent's choice in a match, even if it's not on the wheel.
Oh, is that true?
Or the MVP. Sorry, the MVP.
Oh,
no,
really?
It's no longer a number one contender. I think Christian is kicking around this idea, and I don't know if he's announced it, but he's kicking around this idea that whoever is the MVP of it, of the free-for-all, will get a chance to throw an opponent's choice on the wheel, and he or she will use it. You can say, I'm using my opponent's choice in this match right now on this.
Right. So yeah, if I was the MVP and I was playing Ben and he gets up to spin the wheel, I could be like, not so fast, baby.
Yes, I'm cashing in my opponent's choice.
Well, that's an interesting wrinkle in the game.
I like it.
That could be a bigger game changer than a number one contender spot.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. So that's something he's kicking around. I don't know if he's officially announced it. Christian kicks around 20 ideas. Which one he officially announces, it'll have to come out of his mouth before it is official, But let's jump into one more of these. Scuba Steve Film says, good morning from Rhode Island. I just wanted to say I hope you and Dan have a good day and a great weekend. Scuba Steve out. Scuba Steve.
That's so charming.
It's very nice.
Steve.
I love
it's like a toy that you'd have when you were a kid.
Steve? Who was the pirate in Dodgeball? Steve the Pirate, wasn't it?
I think it was Steve the Pirate.
Steve the Pirate. There you go. One last one. Streamlabs Rise from Aaron Davidson. Remember, the Titans needs its own wheel slice. Dan, do you agree?
It practically has its own wheel slice. It's all those damn questions are back too.
They are. They're back in play.
We went through all of them. They asked all of them, and now they're all back in play. I really hope that I get Who Plays the Daughter and Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
It's a movie that if you're a Schmoedown competitor, if you have not watched it and taken notes, then you're not paying attention.
Did you miss that one in our match?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I believe it's the corruption. The first corruption.
Yeah,
match.
first corruption.
If I'd gotten that, we would have won.
We win.
But,
that's right.
Yeah.
I know. I remember we were battling who should go first, who should go second.
I was kicking myself. That was dumb.
We all got that.
I know it's Hayden Panettiere now. Too late.
Yeah, please send in your Streamlabs here at www.streamlabs.com/John Rocha says/tip, I think. Please send them in. We answered pretty much everyone that's on there. I'm going back to see if there are any super chats that I missed. I think that there was a big super chat that I missed. I apologize. Please send it back through. We had to spend a little more time laying the groundwork on this situation that happened yesterday. So please send it back through. I would appreciate it because obviously it didn't cash out. So if you want to send that big super chat back in, please do. Anybody else who wants to send super chats, do that as well. But look, they take 30% of the super chats. So Streamlabs is better for me overall. So please send in your stuff through Streamlabs if you can. All right, Haskell420 asks, so which exchange members are which Avengers? LOL. Ooh. I don't know if that's enough of a donation for you to go through that, but maybe a couple?
I hate to say it, but you're obviously the Hulk.
Well, yes, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Let's see.
Because he's also smart. So
that's true. That is true. The Hulk is very smart. I would say Bateman's Vision.
Ooh, like an alien, like an android,
like an android, like he's thinking on the fourth level that us humans, mortal beings, can't understand. So
I like that.
The Bateman is the Vision.
Okay. What is Riley? Is Riley like Ant-Man, or is he Captain America, or is he?
I think Riley's got a cap.
Right.
He's Superman, so I think Cap would be the equivalent Avenger.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going with Cap for Riley, and then I think Grey Drake is.
Who Grey Drake be?
Yeah, I don't know who would Grey. I mean, she's big.
Yeah.
Like with the hair, it's kind of Groot-like the hair, but it's very charming.
Yeah.
But she's much more verbose than Groot, and I guess Groot's not technically an Avenger.
No, well, not officially. You're right.
Not officially. So
interesting.
I don't know.
All right, where do you put yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always feel like no matter what Avenger you say that you are, it sounds arrogant.
Okay.
So
I say you're more Captain America, and I think Riley is Iron Man.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Because I've seen Riley get explosive about certain situations. He has a feeling about certain things, and so he can get quite crazy about technology as well. I've seen him on streams meltdown. Yeah. So, it's a blast. So there you go.
Although BC is more apt for the Hulk because he could just.
That's
smash
very
through the
true.
wall. So,
That's very true. I think he's more Drax BC. If we're gonna, lace in. I don't know where Barbarian goes. I don't know where Cody Hall. Cody Hall, I don't know where he goes. And Emily Rose Jacobson might be our Black Widow. I think that's fair to say.
And Andrew, we don't know where Andrew.
Oh, DiMolante. Well, Andrew, you're in the chat. Thank you so much. What Avenger are you, Andrew? Let us know. Spider-Man? Is he a Spider-Man?
Oh, I can see that. Yeah. Or Cody.
Oh, Cody is Spider-Man. Jesus, what is wrong with me?
He's got like a
of course, he is Spider-Man, definitely. All right, let's see if I've got any more here. All right, Ratson King has sent one in. Hey, champs, I was wondering which team you prefer to fight next, Corruption again, or would Dan rather have his revenge against Guy? You know what? I'm glad that we've gotten to the point where we can say the name and you don't like have a facial take or anything.
Yeah, like I mean, I think for the viewer, for the Schmoedown fan, I think that they would probably prefer that we fight a team that we haven't faced three times before. Sure. Having said that, I mean, the family is that's a tough team. Yeah, that's a difficult team, right? They're still together, right?
Yeah, they're still together. McWeenie and
that's
Guy.
Right. Sam.
Sam.
That's right. That's right. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I know that people are like, oh, you got to do the. They love the feud that we have with Corruption, but I'm excited by the new, the new challenge. So you know, but the idea of losing to Andrew Guy twice is also just repellent to me. So I don't know. That's a very difficult question.
Well, if he shows up, I like the idea that I'd like to see a triple threat match. If Who's the Boss handles their business, I'd like to see triple threat take on Corruption, take on the family. In a triple threat tag team match, and then that's the number one contender.
Oh, wow.
That's what I think should happen, to be honest with you. And I know Kristen's got to book things the way he books things, but that's how I would do it. If Who's the Boss handles their business, then a 6-person tag would be incredible, I think.
Have they ever done that?
That's what I'm saying. It's season 7. We're supposed to be breaking new ground.
I like that.
That'd be a lot of fun. But yes, I would. I don't think Dan and I think don't care who we face. Dan and I, we want to just play and defend those belts as many times as possible. And if it's Corruption again, great, it's Corruption again. If we beat them again, then they can no longer say they're 2-1 up on us. Right. It's a tie ball game, which I think would get in the craw of Kalinowski and Chance for sure.
I mean, obviously the winner is the chairman because he's got stakes in history in either of those two matches.
That's true.
So
that's very true, actually. Yeah.
Or if they do the triple threat and it's Who's the Boss, like either way, there's a compelling storyline to every single team that appears to be in number one contendership right now.
That's a good point. Very good point.
So the league wins.
As always.
And we might.
yeah, that would be nice. Wiley Todd says, hey guys, what is your favorite Wes Anderson movie? I have recently watched them for the first time and really digging them. Oh, for the first time. Interesting. I'm always amazed and I always forget that there are still people who watch and listen to us who are still up and coming enjoyers of film. So what about you?
My favorite is Royal Tenenbaums.
Okay.
I love Gene. I love the whole cast. I think Gene Hackman is great in that movie. I think he should have been nominated for an Oscar. Right. That was a huge snub. I think that's just a great merge. I thought it was the best mix of Wes Anderson's style and a script that's also got so much heart to it. Yeah. I think sometimes for me, although I can't say I dislike any of his movies, but there are some that I feel get a little too over stylized.
Oh yeah.
I felt like that was a great mix of both.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge Royal Tenenbaums fan. I also love Grand Budapest and Rushmore, and it's hard to go wrong.
I think for me, Moonrise Kingdom or Grand Budapest are my two favorites, and it depends on the day. But Royal Tenenbaums is right there, right underneath, because Royal Tenenbaums is actually a film you can revisit at different times of your life and then get different things from it. Exactly. So I remember seeing when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is interesting. It was in my 20s when it first came out. I was like, oh, this is it. But as I've gotten older, I start to side a little more with Royal Tenenbaum and how he approaches things and understand the kids more as well and what they went through. So once you grasp the actual inner emotional journeys of those characters and have a little bit of an understanding or a universal, or to feel the universality of what they're going through, I think it really kind of like settles into your heart, the film.
I agree.
Yeah, with Grand Budapest, it's about that journey. And I love that wonky-ass crazy journey he goes on. Yeah. And Ray Fiennes rarely gets to spread his wings in a film like that to be the combo of serious and underplaying the dark comedy of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus you got Tony Revolori.
All right, Revolori, who's fantastic. That's
Good
right.
dude.
Yeah, there
I
you
like
go.
Tony.
Good Screen Junkies plug there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me see, guys. Remember, send in your Streamlabs, send in your super chats. Prefer you to send in the Streamlabs. We're trying to focus on those. Support the show. You know, I got Dan stopping in real quick to talk with us about everything that's going on, and of course, he's heading off to Screen Junkies after this, so I appreciate him taking the time to do so. Give him some love. Send us a stream. We have 282 of you in here. We have 173 likes. Get those likes up, please. I'd appreciate it. If you got it over to 200 before we end this stream, and what time do you need to go, Dan? Like 9:45 or 9:30?
Between 9:30 and 9:45.
Okay,
yeah.
right around that. So we're going to have a little bit of time here
Yeah.
to go through everything. All right, let me jump on to some more Streamlabs here, Dan.
Sure.
This is from Haskell 420.
Mhm.
Good morning, John and Dan. Thank you for coming on the show. Yes, thank you, Dan.
Oh, my pleasure.
Dan, I know it's for show and pride, but do you miss bringing out both the movie and TV fights belts, or just too heavy? It would be awesome to see an exhibition match of FSU alumni, you versus John versus KO versus Christian.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anybody else who's a Florida State person, but the four of us on a table going at it
that'd be great.
would be a fun match.
The Knowles facing off. That'd be great. I'd like that. That'd be fun.
It would be
maybe we can do that for like a Patreon match.
I'd be down. I'd absolutely be down.
I'd do it.
And you'd have to have FSU trivia on the wheel. I think it'd have to be a slice,
like Bobby
right?
Bowden.
Yeah,
trivia,
Bobby Bowden trivia. It would be
about,
perfect.
Sally Hall and for sure.
The Loop.
I love the Loop.
The Loop is dead, sadly.
Is it dead?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. They shut it down years ago.
Oh, of course they did.
Yeah, it was a great place.
I went back a few years ago. With Mara, and for a thing at the movie theater.
Yes, that's right. They honored you. Yeah.
So awesome. I did it with Alicia Malone.
That's
right. Q&A. It was awesome. We had a great time. But I walked in all confident, just like, show you around my campus. This is where I spent my youth. I got lost almost immediately.
Oh yeah, it's a whole other campus.
Much. They built so much, and all the new buildings look exactly the same.
Yep.
And there's like a Starbucks on campus now.
Yep.
I felt old because I was looking at Starbucks like Starbucks. In my day, we didn't have Starbucks on campus.
We walked 5 miles doing a Starbucks in my day.
Yeah, I got
we didn't
lost.
even have Starbucks. It was 7-Eleven coffee.
They tore down the house where I lived. It's an apartment complex now.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. But Guthrie's is still there.
Yeah, Guthrie's, of course, is still there. Yeah. What about?
Sorry, what was the quote?
Do you miss bringing out the movie and TV fights?
Yeah. Well, I mean, TV fights. It feels like cheating because we don't do the show anymore.
Yeah, true.
So
fair.
it felt like it'd be like I was. Just doing it to do it.
Yeah.
Movie fights. I felt like it was just almost unnecessary.
No,
That, I just I love that show, but at this point now with the Schmoedown, there's so much wrapped up and involved with it that I like having the Schmoedown belts. Plus, the Schmoedown belt's heavy. Man.
Yeah, the Schmoedown belt is heavy now.
But it's all right because I'll be walking out with 2 belts soon.
Oh! Yes, I believe in you, my man.
And I'm working on 3.
Oh, that's right, the IG belt. You also want to
3.
play on the IG belt. I respect that, of course. All right, let's move on to our next Streamlab. This one is from Melvin Linderoth. And listen, guys, you guys are getting 45 more or 36 more minutes with the champ, with one of the half of the tag team champions, rather.
Yeah.
And he is my favorite champ, that's for sure, Dan Murrell, the GOAT. So please send in your questions on Streamlabs, send in your super chats. If that's the only way you can send stuff in, do so. All right, it's like I said, Melvin Linderoth. Hey guys, question for Dan.
Yeah.
I watched yesterday's Screen Junkies, and you talked about what's SJU? What am I missing? Screen Junkies University?
SJU is our Screen Junkies Universe.
Okay.
It's our morning show.
Sorry about that.
Which I'll be doing today.
There you
at
go.
11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
I got to hassle you guys to get me on there as a guest. Hey guys, question for Dan. I watched yesterday's Screen Junkies Universe, and you talked about the Schmoedown. So I was wondering, is there anyone else from SJ/fandom that's looking to join the Schmoedown except you and Lon, either as a player or caster? Would Joe work on the desk? Joe Starr on the desk?
Well, Joe would definitely work on the desk.
I think Christian's had him call a match once in the past.
Joe has, I think, called a match.
And he was
Daniel
great.
Radford has called matches.
Daniel Radford has,
She's, she just got a gig for over on Sci-Fi for a month, so
nice.
we lost her talents for about a month, but we're looking forward to having her back. But Danielle has called matches in the past.
Right.
I think it's a different when you're talking about competing.
Yeah,
it's different than it used to be in the sense that it used to be when you would say, oh, I'm going to play in the Schmoedown. It's like you could come in and play 1 match.
Right.
Or you could come in and play 2 matches a year. now there's such a structure to it,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many different levels to it, and the game itself is so much more demanding that it's not necessarily for not everyone can make the time commitment. It's tough for me to do it. So. Plus, I think that like Spencer's not a trivia guy.
No.
Like he comes in, like he's a brilliant writer, but I don't think he's got a desire to play movie trivia. Same with Roth is like she works like 22 hours a day, and I think she sleeps standing up. So I don't know. I don't know. If, like she's just like a constant machine of work and busyness. So I don't think that she would have a chance to come and compete. So.
I think she played once, I think way back when, and didn't 100% like the overall experience, which is okay.
Because you feel like, and I get it, it's like she knows so much about film and the industry and and all kinds of movies. And I think that when you do a trivia contest, that there are some in the audience, and it's not fair, but there are some in the audience who judge your overall knowledge of film based on whether you get these specific questions right, and it's frustrating.
Yes.
Especially for someone like Roth who... she's got so many deep ties into like the documentaries genre and stuff that may not necessarily come up in the Schmoedown. Plus, it's like even not every like there's a lot of pressure, and it's like I get it. I get that thing of like I don't want to be judged based on answering these questions about whether I do or don't know about movies. Let me tell you, Roth does.
Yeah. She
knows as much about movies as anybody competing in the Schmoedown.
She's been doing it for... part of the element of this game is recall, right? And immediate recall, 15-second recall. And sometimes when you know so much, the recall may not be there for you. And that's something you have to hone as you play, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the game sometimes. And not everyone has that instinct to do it or that proclivity to do it or to put in the time in to develop a faster twitch impulse to do it as well. I totally respect that.
So
all right, let's see. Let's move on to Billy Belford. I sent another one in. He said, is there a question you can remember being shocked that you got right or that an opponent got right?
Shocked that I got right or that an opponent got right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one that was shocked that I got. I mean, it's tough to be shocked that I got a question right because I know that I know it. So it's like I'm not going to be like I.
There you go.
Well, you. It's I think we both had. I'm trying to think if I ever guessed on anything.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever like just pulled a random guess out of my butt and gotten anything right. I remember Stacy was this hilarious when she played Riley.
God. Yeah.
And she just guessed Robert De Niro and got it. I've never had a moment like that.
Yeah, that was such a weird moment. I couldn't believe that happened. I don't know if there's been a thing for me where I was shocked that I got something right. Or shocked that an opponent got right.
Brendan actually.
Okay.
You can see my reaction in New York. They asked, and it was a 3-pointer, and that was a 5-point question. They asked him about a Billy Crystal movie from the 90s called Forget Paris, which is like that's a deep cut like for a 3-pointer.
Yeah,
that's a tough 3-pointer.
Right. And
he's a younger guy. He's younger.
I didn't think he was going to get it.
I didn't either, and that really impressed me. When he pulled Forget Paris, I was like, that is impressive, because that is not a movie that's really in the zeitgeist that a lot of people remember. Like, you kind of had to have been around at that time, which he was not. So that, I was actually really impressed and actually surprised that he got that, because I didn't think that he knew it.
I think that's a great example.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever guessed and gotten anything right that we've seen in any of my matches.
Yeah.
I think most of the times, if I'm guessing with a little bit of like the C.S. Lewis guess and our triple threat match. That was more like I had a feeling that was right, but I didn't know for sure, and it wasn't until I just kind of said, I'm going to take a chance and put it out there. But I don't know if I've ever recalled any. But the one that I was shocked somebody got right was when Riley beat me for the title, because I didn't think he was going to get that Jack Black thing right at all. He had spent so much time going over and over and over again in his head. I was just waiting for him to go, I don't know. I was like already ready to kiss my ring and retain my belt, and he got it. And I was like, oh, no. So,
well, people think the Danny DeVito thing was a put on.
That was.
Which was not.
No.
Like everyone's just like, because, Dan, you would have had to repeat if that overtime with John hadn't been stalling for time. Like, listen,
so
I was in that huddle. There was no stalling for time. It was two panicked guys.
Two panicked guys trying to remember their 80s movies.
I don't know, man. Like, if you don't know, then we're screwed. And it's you going like, wait a minute. No, hang on. No, wait. I know.
Yeah. And that's why I asked for the repeat, so
Yeah.
I could have a little more time to make sure that the answer was right, because there had been so many other characters in that movie that I was like, wait, who did the robbing? Who was the Steve? And I was like, yeah, because to me, the Danny DeVito thing almost seemed like too easy of an answer, because he's one of the 3 people billed in that movie.
Yeah.
And so I thought, since it's a 5-pointer, it's a deeper cut. So I'm sitting there like thinking about who else might be in there that I would have forgotten, some character actor or whatever.
Well, sometimes when it seems like too easy of an answer, then you almost psych yourself out. I got one in the free-for-all. At the time, I hadn't seen Easy A.
Oh, right.
And so it said, who plays Olive in Easy A?
Right.
And so, like, in my head, I'm like, well, it can't be Emma Stone. That's too easy.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't know any of the characters. And I was like, so who else could it be? And I'm like, I was trying to think of who else is in the movie. And I'm like, and then at the end, I was just like, I just write down the only person I know. I was like, Emma Stone. But it was Emma Stone.
Right.
But if you don't know, like, you psych yourself out.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it's the game. You can really play had mind games with you.
But the thing I learned also, it's better to guess than to not put anything down.
Oh,
right?
Always put something down.
I learned in our triple threat match, because, I mean, obviously the Calvin Klein thing is people focus on, and I get that. Yeah. But I knew Patrick Stewart was the only person in Green Room that I knew was in the cast.
Yeah.
And but the name is it could be a male or a female name.
Yeah.
So if I had just put Patrick Stewart as an F it, let's see what happens, I would have gotten the points. And maybe would have been the difference in winning that match.
I think Riley did that with John Cleese.
Yes.
In that same match, I think it was against Stacey, where it was about like an older British comedian and he didn't know it.
He didn't.
It's like, okay, well there's like, at the time, there's like 4 things this could be, so let's just guess one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get lucky.
You do.
Sometimes you just get lucky.
You troubleshoot it. Well, there you go. I hope you got enough out of that $1 donation there.
Wow.
That was a hell of a long answer.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a little under 30 minutes, so let's get through these. Anthony Colstro donated. He said, 100% agree with Dan. Managers should always represent the current champ. Part of the champion's advantage. Also, Scuba Steve is from Big Daddy. That's right. Time to study Adam Sandler films. That's right. He comes in playing the character for his son. That's right, Scuba Steve. Yes, time to study Adam Sandler films. Thank you, Anthony, for that suggestion.
Or was
all right.
Was I playing that I didn't?
Crafty little SOB there. All right, Jeremy Velez. He says, hi, Dan and John. I'm the fan who arranged the Jaws and Good, Bad, and the Ugly themes for your Schmoedown team entrance. Thank you so much, Jeremy. That's awesome.
Jeremy, that's great. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm really honored that you've been using it. Thank you for everything you guys do for this community. You guys are the best. Well, thank you.
Thank you, man. I love that thing.
Yeah, whatever we give to the community, we get it back like tenfold.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say so because of the support and the just love and the I don't know, commitment to coming back over and over again to look at our stuff and watch our stuff and comment on our stuff. It means a lot. And watch our matches too.
Well, yeah, and that's why I love doing live events so much. It's funny because way back months ago when Christian was planning Atlanta, he asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to do, as the undercard, do you want to make your IG debut? And I said, I didn't know at the time, but I was just like, you know what? I've done a lot of live events, and let somebody else have somebody else to go and have a chance. But then the way the circumstances worked, now I've done the first 2. What I love about it, and I think you can see it. I'm not going to say it makes me better at the game, but you do feed the energy.
Yeah.
So incredible, and it does. For me, it fuels me. I feed off of that energy because it's such positivity and all the weird negative stuff, like the stuff that happened yesterday, or a bad loss, or it all melts away when you have that enthusiasm.
Absolutely,
and
man.
You can't match that.
No.
So yeah, the community has just been so, and I found this with Screen Junkies also. It's just like you have people that just are so amazing and supportive and positive, and it's so cool. Like Raul, who is he's a huge Screen Junkies fan, and now I see him all the time in Schmoedown stuff, and just one of the nicest, most positive, supportive people that you could hope to have as a fan. So it's amazing to me.
He doesn't like me, so like he doesn't cheer for me. So the fact that we're on a team together really divides him all the time. Yeah, I love it. I think it's perfect.
No, that's the fun part.
Exactly, it's the fun part. Let's see, and thank you, Jeremy, for the theme again. You're so awesome.
Yes.
We love walking out to that. John Mariano donated here. He said, hello to two of my all-time favorites. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Is there any possibility that we can get an all Finstock Exchange episode of Movie Fights in the future? I know Movie Fights is few and far between these days, but I'm all in for any excuse to get you guys together. I think that would be tough. I think we'd all love to do it, but I think it would be tough.
Yeah.
Because of it would have to be everyone agreeing for this to happen. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult because the way that we do it now with Movie Fights is we do them a little bit further in between, but we try to sort of make them worth it, which is why we did like the Oscars after show live and. Like, we really want to make them sort of heavy. Not that it wouldn't be a heavy hitter episode, but, it's thematic, or we're trying to find people, like, we want to get a big guest in, et cetera, for when we do it. So that would be fun, but I don't know. I feel like every time we get together, it's a movie.
It really is.
What was yesterday?
Yeah, right, true. Pretty much.
You want your all Finstock Exchange Movie Fights episode. That was yesterday.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Facebook page.
We'll just set this all on fire, for God's sakes. Luis Suarez says, it's always been weird how Dan has never faced either of the Patriots, JT or Snyder, in a Schmoedown match, teams or singles. Perhaps the closest we got is if Team Champs had beat Top 10 and then would have faced Box Office Breakdown back in 2015. Yeah, that's a fair point.
I beat them both in the free-for-all.
You did? Fair, yeah.
It was me, Bibbs, I think me, Bibbs, and JT were the final three.
Yeah, final three.
Yeah. So, but yeah. It's weird. You have these weird pockets of I've never faced McWeeny.
Yeah.
Never. Never fought him.
I've only faced him in that Manager Bowl last year.
Yeah. Never really never had a chance to fight Rachel.
Yes. Right.
I have never
one of us
faced Kalinowski one-on-one. When you have players that are around for so long, there's this. I only played Sam once. Right. There's this thing of like, oh well, they've all played each other. They did. Right. But it was a different era for both.
True.
It is weird when you see like, oh, they've never played each other. It's like, no, there are these weird things of just like I was away from the game, or they were away from the game, or they were on their way up, or I was down here. Yeah. It's always fun. That's another reason when we talk about the number one contendership is I would love to be able to face McWeeny just because I've never played him.
Yeah, fair point.
Never played him.
It would be fun. Yeah. I mean, you've played Bib 55 times. So
I played Bib like 8 times this year, but we never played each other before then.
That's right.
We played each other like 4 times. So it's just a weird streaky thing.
Much to Bibbs' undelight. Okay, let's see. All right, Anthony Calistro says here, Dan, by the way, great Screen Junkies yesterday. Loved Joe's dig at all the sunglasses in the Schmoedown. Oh, Joe Starr had something to say about sunglasses?
Well, yeah, I said we were talking about this because we didn't have any news to talk about yesterday.
Oh, right.
So
there wasn't much going on.
I said, well, there's Schmoedown news. You should call John Rocha and we'll talk about the Schmoedown. And Joe's like, well, I don't have any sunglasses. I don't have enough sunglasses. Which is funny because I used to wear sunglasses.
You did? I think all of us start out that way.
Yeah, but now everyone does it.
Yeah.
So now I don't.
Ben used to wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
Oyama wears
Riley
sunglasses.
Still wears them.
Riley.
Chance.
Yep, Chance.
Kalinowski was the sunglasses guy.
True.
For a while. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I think you lay the groundwork. If you wear the sunglasses, you've got an inside track to the championship.
Maybe.
Pretty much everyone you've mentioned except for Chance is one belt. Yeah. Oh, no, Chance won the tag team. Sorry.
Yeah.
So pretty much everyone you mentioned is one belt. Yeah.
But then there's a lot of sunglasses wearers that have not won. Cause
true. Yeah, Stacey's worn sunglasses and she has.
Now everybody wears.
Yeah, true. No, it's true.
I mean, for me, it was like ironic. It was like, look at this dork thinking he's cool wearing sunglasses. But now people use it. It's like part of their persona. So now I don't.
I still love the promo when you took off the sunglasses.
I took off the glasses.
Stomped out of it. That was great. All right, let's see. By the way, Ricky G donated. He says, hey, Rocha, not justifying the Astros cheating, but the Yankees are being investigated for the same thing and were the reason for the warning teams got that year. Beltran even said he thought he brought the cheating system over from the Yankees. So your point is what? If they catch the Yankees doing this, punish them to the nth degree, take away whatever you need to take away. I am not a homer of a fan where I'm like, oh, I don't care if they cheated or what. No, I'm like, if you catch them cheating, then absolutely punish them to the extent of what you're allowed to punish them at, because those are the rules. I've always been a fan of the game over the team. Always. Yeah. So to me, that's the way I approach it. So if Beltran, by the way, I don't trust a word Beltran says at all. Brought it over from the Yankees. Great if he says that, but I think he's also trying to protect his team by bashing a team that traded him away. So yeah,
I mean, I'm not as in sports, but I do keep track of it, and I think what seems to be the most troublesome thing right now is that when people lose confidence in the top of the league, meaning the commissioner, then you're in real trouble. And it seems like there are a lot of players that are losing confidence, not necessarily because of an unpopular action that happens all the times, but just this idea of like not quite understanding the importance of the game, etc. Like that's where you get into trouble.
That's a great point, and they're becoming more and more vocal in these interviews, which means they fear the front office less and less.
And then you got
the league office, rather,
guys like LeBron, like not even different sports,
right? Yeah, he's commenting on it. Yeah,
that's not a good look.
Exactly, I agree very much so. Let's see, everyone. Okay, this is from Andrew DiMalata, our fellow faction
Andrew,
member.
what's up, man?
What's up, Andrew?
I think I called you Mike on stage in New York because I was trying to remember everyone's name, and I might have called you Mike. I apologize.
Mike DiMalata, I like it.
He made a great music video.
Yes, he did. That's right. Him and his wife. His wife did she was singing on the.
Oh wow!
Nikki's the one singing on the track.
I love it.
Greedy for all the belts. I love it. Hey Dan, with John trying his hand at the Star Wars division, that's 6 months down the road. Yeah. Do you have any interest in that division as well? Playing you two in Star Wars would be the only chance I will ever have at seeing you across the desk. Thoughts?
Here's what I'll say. I'm very focused on IG.
Yes.
Because that is and it's not because I think that I'm gonna go in and dominate, because it is a different league. There are people in there that have been playing that league that know that game better than I could know it right off the bat. I'm not expecting to just walk in and win a championship.
Right.
But if I'm able to succeed and get that belt, I would be tempted to look at the possibility of going for the 4 for 4.
Wow.
But that is contingent.
Quadruple belted would be the end of conversation.
That is contingent on so many things,
including
like I wouldn't even look down that road unless I was able to win the championship in IG.
Yeah.
If I was able to win the IG championship, and then depending on how far down the road that is, maybe I could just put everything once the belts have cycled through and I've defended or lost, whatever. And that was like, I could just say like, all right, my last act will be to focus on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, it would be tempting, but even then, good God Almighty, that league is ridiculous.
I think that's why I'm excited to try my hand at it more than IG, because IG is way too deep on way too many things that I won't find myself watching. Right, but with Star Wars, it's a certain number of films, and if the way I study things, I will absolutely write every little thing down that I think could be a question.
Yeah.
And that's the way it would work for me. So I'm excited to take my shot at it down the road.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's move on to a super chat here real quick. John, Dan, glad I'm able to catch this show live. I'm so excited for Atlanta and hopefully able to meet you guys in the free-for-all this March. The two GOATs. Hashtag the two GOATs.
Nice.
Very kind of you.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Is that Jaw Movies? I saw he was on Riley's.
Watched
Riley's show yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, because Jaws. Yeah, anything Jaw or Jaws.
Oh, right.
Catches my.
It is Jaw Movies. You're right. There you go. Right. That's awesome. Thank you, Jaw. Where are we? Okay, let's move on to another Streamlabs. Matt Caleb Graham, Little Warrior / Caleb has been sick lately, and these streams have helped him feel better. Dan, you really made spectacular special for him. Oh no.
Yeah, Caleb.
He carried our belts out.
He carried our belts, which is great because it takes the strain off of me. It helps me focus on watching it. I'm so sorry to hear that. Caleb, get well soon.
Yeah, get well soon.
We're going to need help carrying those belts again.
That's right. right.
Yeah.
You got to we're sending you love and support, my man. Whatever you need, let us know. If you want us to, and this is for Matt, if you want us to record a special video, we'll do so. Absolutely not a problem. Let us know, and we'll make it happen. Cobalt Swordman donated, said, this is Super Chat, would Ana de Armas be a better choice for Catwoman?
Oh. Did they cast a Catwoman?
Yeah, well, they did already with Zoe Kravitz.
Oh, that's right, Zoe Kravitz.
Right. But that being said,
I think she would be a good choice for Catwoman. But I think Zoe Kravitz is also a great choice. I think two good choices, I would say.
Agreed. And she's getting good reviews for High Fidelity. Zoe Kravitz is. So I'm looking forward to see what she does with Catwoman. We have yet to see, I mean, and you could argue Halle Berry, I think that was more the movie than her. Yeah. We have yet to see a bad Catwoman, right, on screen. Certainly all the Catwomen have been interesting and made the roles their own and distinct, and that's been fun to watch, for sure.
I'll tell you how fleeting movie news is in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm sure I talked about Zoe Kravitz being Catwoman for 20 minutes on SJU, and it's just...
I get it, man.
In one ear, out the other.
People don't understand. We talk about so much of the stuff on so many different shows. It can get lost after a while. All right, Starfire Triple X. Oh, God, I don't know if I want to read this. I know part of SD equals show. I hope you all don't break up. No, we're not breaking up. Come on. The Founding Fathers, for God's sake. Although someone needs to create a shirt at us signing the Declaration of Independence, and it's the Schmoedown.
That would be kind of...
Don't you think it should be a Schmoedown, something with us just kind of signing, like standing like this?
Like that painting.
Yeah, like the painting.
It's all other Schmoedown personalities there.
Sitting back while we sign.
Harloff at the big thing, and we're, I like that.
Somebody make this happen! For God's sakes, we're losing money on that shirt.
I would buy 10 of that.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's
hand them out for Christmas.
Yeah.
All right, we're running out of time. We got about 15 minutes, so I got to run through these. Yeah. Billy Belford donated said, "There's a little more for that in-depth answer to my last one." Thank you, Billy. Yeah. The kid told me at the bar that he has never seen Forget Paris, but he had studied Billy Crystal recently and was able to eliminate all the other answers because of the year and co-star. See,
that's the value of studying.
Exactly. Troubleshooting a situation is invaluable in the Schmoedown. It is about what you know, but sometimes it's also about what you kind of know and work your way to an answer that is an educated guess that could end up getting you points in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, the kid's smart like that. Kid is going to be a champion, don't you think? Like he's yeah.
No, definitely.
Within the year.
No question. I mean, if he doesn't have the team's belt, which he very, very, very well could.
Sure.
He's also a threat at he's a threat at the free for all. To get a title shot, he's a threat for the singles belt.
Yeah.
That's actually what I kind of hope is that. I mean, I would love to win and hold the belts, but I would love to see people like Janine and the kid, people that have been fighting their way and be a very impressive performance after impressive performance, break to that next level and get a championship, because I think that's good for the game. Yeah, agreed. You guys, 236 likes on this thing. We have over 300 in you. Would love it if you guys could kind of hit that like button, get it to over 300 before we wrap this stream up here in the next 13 to 15 minutes. Yeah. Would love it if that's possible, please. All right, let's see where he is. Okay, Hail to the King. I'm sorry. Haskell 420 goes, is Drunk Movie Fights dead? They were so much fun. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree that they were a lot of fun, but I think just because it's tough enough already, and we didn't stop doing movie fights every week just because we wanted to. Right. It really was a function of everything else that's on our plate and developing new stuff, and also it's just tough to book. It's tough to book every week. It's tough to it was a 2 to 3 hour chunk out of one of our days every week. True. So that plus the idea that it's less frequent. Yeah. I think probably, never say never, but I just don't know if that's would be high up the list of like what's going to happen. I'm not surprised by that. Plus we all know that you can never beat Ken Knapsack at Drunk Movie Fights. Maybe someday. I watched his soul. Yeah. I was judging, I think the one that he won. I watched his consciousness, like Doctor Strange, leave his body. But he continued to speak, and then it came back. It was like Ghost. Like I just watched him snap back to life, and he still won. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like a fugue state. No surprise. That's a great reference. All right, we got to run through these. I heard some this is from Hail to the King. I heard some competitors talk about how much harder singles is than teams. Is that due to just being out there on an island by yourself in singles versus having a teammate, or do you legit have to study prep differently? It's easier in the sense that it's not all. I mean, round one's the same. Yeah, round one is the same. What you know, what you don't know, and then to a certain extent, if it's a 3-round match, round 3 is the same for the 2 and the 3-pointers. But I will say that the wheel match I find less intimidating. I'm not saying easier, but less intimidating because you're working off of 2 bases of knowledge, exactly, and not just one. Right. So I'll say less intimidating, but you're also fighting usually against twice the skill on the other side of the table.
That's the thing at the end. So everything's got their pros and cons, and I agree with everything Dan just said. Absolutely. Let's see. John Movies again. He said, donate. Which is more frustrating? Betting too low and then getting an easy question during betting rounds, or not buzzing in fast enough even though you know the answers during the speed round. For me, I will say buzzing in. That frustrates the hell out of me when you know it and you don't buzz in fast enough. The betting is, you can make up those points, but the buzzing is frustrating.
I actually would say the betting would be more frustrating for me because, again, I'm not necessarily in control of the buzzer,
right?
In the sense that, like, I can't help it if the other person is faster than I am. Like, I can't change my reflex time, and I can't change their reflex time.
Right.
What I can change is a strategic decision inside the game of how many points to bet. And
yes, good point.
If I bet more, for example, against Paul,
right,
in our title match, I ended up getting that question right. He ended up getting it wrong. If I made a more aggressive bet, that match may have, and I don't know if it would have. It may have ended differently, or it may not have at least ended as quickly as it did. I think about that. It's the stuff that I can change that I get worried about. If I hit opponent's choice, I can't do anything to change
That's
that.
a fair point,
It's frustrating for me if I make a move that I was in complete control of that ended up being a bad move. So that's more frustrating.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see. Dick Grayson wants me to unblock him from Facebook. Well, you probably made a pretty terrible comment. I don't usually use the block move that often. I mute people mostly, but if you said something really offensive, then guess what? I blocked you. So apologize for what you said, then maybe I'll unblock you. All
You're
right.
a superhero, Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson. Come on, Robin. All right. Ricky G said, my point was that cheating runs deeper than the Astros. It's why they aren't going to get punished as hard as possible. If you set precedent now and then 10 other teams get caught in the investigation, now there goes a third of the league. Exactly, Ricky G. That's why you make those punishments as strong as possible, so the other teams are scared like hell, and then they submit all that stuff ahead of time. It's what the NCAA does all the time with basketball teams. They have them self-police so that if they get involved, everything's going out the window. So to me, just because cheating is prevalent across the league doesn't mean you know what, we're not going to do anything about it. We're going to give a little bit of punishment. I just don't agree with that.
No, I don't either. A third of the league deserves to get suspended. Then
suspend them. Exactly. Wiley Henry says, you guys are my favorite team. Do you think either of you guys could win a Classics belt? I do. I would love to do a Classics match.
Oh, like Classics
as a category. Yeah.
I would love to compete.
Yeah. Me too.
I'd love to.
It would be fun as the league progresses. Maybe there is these like little mini belts that are the Classics belt. Like there's a Rocky belt out there that Christian has.
Yeah.
I would love to get in. I think me, you, Sam, Rachel McWeeny. Just the five of us. And Bibbs, I think Bibbs would want to have a shot at it too.
Bibbs would definitely want to have a shot at it.
So maybe we'd have to have a 5-way playing game. And Clark, sure.
There's a lot of great people that would be good fit.
Yeah, maybe there are 2 5-ways.
I've never played in any one of these exhibition or Patreon matches, and I'd like to. I think they asked Mara and I to do a Star Trek one at one point.
Oh yeah.
The prep time. I think I was getting ready for another league match, and the prep time was too short, and it's just like I could do it, but I wouldn't be ready to play, and so I had to pass. But I'd love to play in one of those, with enough warning.
Me too.
One of those exhibition matches.
Me too.
They look like a lot.
I had fun at that Christmas one 2 years ago. I was bummed I couldn't defend my title again because I was doing something else that weekend. Dick Grayson, Tavishka Productions, and guys, stop setting them in because we got to wrap up here in the next 5 to 6 minutes.
Sorry, I would literally stay here all day. But,
I've been loving it, man. I can't believe the time's gone by so quickly. Right? In regards to the shitting on Oklahoma comment on SEN yesterday, Rocha was talking about backyard wrestling in your uncle's house in Oklahoma. No serious offense, but why us? Why not Delaware? Why the fuck do? And aren't they more of a county? # nothing but love. Or I guess that's meant for me. I was just making, and by the way, I'm a professional wrestling fan. I have lived in the South, so I know that these things happen. I just picked Oklahoma because Oklahoma is one of my favorite states, and I was just thinking about it in my head. So don't misconstrue it as a negative, for sure.
Yeah. I feel that frustration, though, because I come from a state, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Like, anytime anybody wants to say something stupid or snide about the South, of course, they pick Arkansas.
That's fair. So you know why? Because they fear Texans. That's why.
We don't fear them.
You don't fear Texans?
We don't fear
Texans. The rest of the country.
Texans want everyone to think we fear
them.
They have such a, and listen, I got relatives in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
raised in Texas, but there's like an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
So they think that we think about them all the time. Like, we don't. We're in Arkansas doing our thing. We don't mind them. It's fine. Go be in Texas. Like, they want to be in Texas.
Yeah, true.
And you know, and I like going to Texas.
Sure.
We played a great match.
Yeah, we did in Houston.
I got no problem with Texas. They seem to have a problem with everybody else.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But I see now. I just did what he did. But I understand living in a state where people just sort of try to pull a punchline because I'm defensive about it.
Well, I respect that, and you know what? You turned me around. I apologize. Absolutely, I didn't mean. Maybe I should pick my. I'll pick a fake state going forward.
And I'm sorry, Texas. I didn't mean to.
Okay, this is from Faisal Hadi again. Hey guys, what is your favorite and least favorite Best Picture winner of the decade? I can't. Between The King's Speech, The Artist, Argo, 12 Years a Slave, Birdman, Spotlight, Moonlight, The Shape of Water, Green Book, Parasite. I can answer real quickly. My least favorite is Green Book. And the Best Picture winner of those might be Parasite for me, to be honest with you, because I think it would have been Zero Dark 30 if it had beaten Argo, and it would have been 1917 if it had beaten Parasite.
I think my favorite would be either Shape of Water or Parasite.
Okay.
And if I was going to pick a least favorite, I don't hate any of them, but probably The Artist. I just think The Artist is very forgettable.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think that. I was actually watching it the other day for like 10 minutes, and I was going, I don't remember.
Although King's Speech beat Social Network, which
that's true, which is
egregious.
Yeah,
but,
agreed.
You know, whatever.
It's you'll take it personal. All right, we got 5 minutes here. This is from King Sport Cal. This is a super chat. Pool tournament tonight. Gonna get some candy asses. Okay, do it. Get it. Oh, the thing's about to fall. Spinning Art, this is a super chat, or I'm sorry, a Streamlabs. Is there any international cinema that you've been wanting to be more familiar with? I have recently started reviewing some of the classic Mexican cinema that was being produced in the 40s and 50s, a lot of which included Hollywood talent. Oh, really? Yeah. Fascinating. I haven't explored that at all. I know Luis Buñuel is one of those guys that did a lot of Mexican cinema as well, but I haven't explored that at all. Interesting.
Miyazaki.
Okay.
All the Studio Ghibli stuff, really anime in general, I'm very not familiar with, and I've heard that there's really, and I'm sure that there is some very stunning filmmaking.
Yes,
and I think I've dipped my toe into almost everything else as far as the major, like French New Wave and Sweden, Ingmar Bergman, and
even Russian cinema,
South Korean cinema. Like, I feel like I've dipped my toe at least into all of those. The one thing I really have not exposed myself to at all is like Miyazaki, the anime genre. So that's something that I want to rectify because I'm sure that there's really some great stories there.
They do pop up every once in a while in animation category. Those
they do
Ghibli and Miyazaki stuff.
And Draco got asked one that was like, what was the Studio Ghibli film to win Best Animated Feature? Yeah, which I knew, but not because I'd seen the film. Right. So they do pop up every once in a while. So I should I only reveal that because it's not a wheel slide.
All right, I think this is a perfect one to end on. Mara Marin, it's a super chat. Yeah. Said, I want to get into the Schmoedown. What's a good video to understand it and the different factions and what a heel means? HEEL.
I mean, the different factions are it's so new.
I'd watch the draft.
Yeah, watch the draft. Yeah. Plus, like Shannon had the biggest heel move ever with breaking up the Wild Berries in that draft. So yeah, if you want to understand the factions, I would say watch the draft.
Understand what is the Schmoedown? You watch our match. That's what you watch. That's always been the classic match to watch. Dan Murrell, the champion, versus John Rocha, the challenger, waiting a year to finally go get that belt, and it began It was our rivalry and then eventually our friendship, and it's why we play so well together because there's so much trust between each other in these matches as a tag team.
And the first free-for-all, too, is a great one of the best Schmoedown moments of all time that we were both on the
that's right.
But even
and Draco clearing the table.
Even though I still think I would have had that if I had 2 more seconds, like I cannot deny that was an incredible moment.
And by the way, Bibbs silently, the assistant to making that happen. Yes, if he had not answered correctly, a few of us would have stayed on that table.
He would have gone, I think.
Yeah, he would have gone.
We would have. The rest of us would have stayed.
Exactly. If he had just sacrificed himself.
Nope.
Nope, he didn't want to do it.
He did not throw himself on the fire. He's like, if I'm going down, you're going with me.
Classic Bibbs.
Yep.
I know I mentioned New Mutants and Borderlands real quick before we wrap up.
Sure.
What are your thoughts about the New Mutants Final Cut finally happening, and Anya Taylor-Joy being excited about it, and Josh Boone being excited about it?
Sure.
Do you think it's really coming out? Do you think it's
we have a feature on my box office show on
cool.
Mondays called Countdown
to
New Mutants, because we're still not convinced that it's actually coming out. But it would appear that we're full steam ahead.
Yeah.
So,
she said it in an interview for press, Anya Taylor-Joy for Emma, which is great, by the way. She said, it's like having a best friend that you tell everybody about and nobody thinks actually exists, and now they actually do exist. So.
I mean, I'm sure as an actor and Josh Boone as a director, you just want to get it out. Yeah. It's been for 3 years. Yeah. We also do This Week in New Mutants history, where we go back to they started production in a different administration almost. It's there's also a certain extent to which though you can't really. Of course, they're gonna say they're happy with it because you don't want to be a Josh Trank situation where you're out there, and he's he sort of sullied his own name and reputation by doing that. But
and you don't want a Dark Phoenix situation where people think it's a lame duck film and don't go to it. So
I'm still excited by it because I still like the approach. Yeah. So happy to hear that at least publicly that they're happy with it.
What do you expect from an Eli Roth Borderlands movie? Do you think that it will happen? And B, what do you expect from it?
I don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah.
Eli Roth is real streaky for me.
Mm-hmm.
I hated Death Wish.
Oh, yeah. Death Wish was terrible.
I hated it. I really didn't
Bruce
like
Willis
it.
couldn't have been a better choice. And it still didn't work.
I really didn't like it, but he's also, House with a Clock in Its Walls actually wasn't bad.
I was so surprised.
I didn't expect that from him.
Yeah.
So I think he's a talented filmmaker, but I don't always enjoy his films.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It also depends on the budget. What kind of budget are they going to give him? What kind of budget is he going to want?
Right.
Because I don't know if he's the filmmaker that you give $100 million.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And I don't know if you want a cheap Borderlands. I don't know. There's a lot of in between area.
I think he'll do it like grindhouse exploitation type film. And I think that would work for Borderlands if he does it. Yeah. So the budget could be low on that and make it like an original Mad Max or Road Warrior type of feel to it. I think Eli Roth could do that, certainly. And as we know him here, the Bear Jew, or as JT says it, the Jew Bear. There we go. That's the thing. All right.
You know what my favorite thing about the Jew Bear thing
Tell me, please.
Is that his teammate was on stage dressed as that character 5 minutes before that.
That's true. That's true.
That's my favorite thing about it. It's just the cherry on top of the sundae.
JT, you're the gift that keeps on giving.
JT, we miss him.
We do miss him.
We miss him.
We do miss JT.
He was always good for just you get mixed up in the ins and outs of the daily world and just the politics and the things just the real world and all the Schmoedown stuff, and then you just talk to JTE and you realize that man.
It's also
we're all just living.
Yeah,
man.
it's also simple.
We're all just a tumbleweed going through this life.
He's the best. I think JT should absolutely release a book about his wisdom and his approach to the world.
His philosophy. If I could figure out how to get my head in that mindset of just man.
Yeah.
We're just people, man.
It's the best.
I love it.
I love that guy. All right, well, thanks to Dan Murrell for stopping by here. As you saw there in the overlay, thank you so much, Jake Iacovetta, for creating that overlay for us, especially for today. Follow Dan Murrell at Murrell Dan there on Twitter and all the social media. Is there anything you want to promote or push right now?
Yeah, well, you can catch me in about an hour and 12 minutes over on Fandom Entertainment.
Yep.
We got Screen Junkies Universe on Fridays. That should be a fun show. I've got my charting show on Mondays.
Yes.
We're breaking down the box office. We looked at Sonic last week. This week we're going to look at Call of the Wild and all the movies that are opening, and The Boy 2, which I'm sure is going to be the number one movie. I actually like the first Boy movie.
Isn't that what's her face? Lauren Cohen? Was it Lauren Cohen in that one, or was it?
Yeah,
right?
And then Katie Holmes is now on this one. So, and then we've got Honest Trailers over on the Screen Junkies channel, and Honest Trailer commentaries and movie fights when we can put together a good panel, and daily stuff over on Fandom Entertainment. We're doing a lot of cool stuff with psychology and real life stuff. We've been looking at different versions of the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Right.
A lot of really cool stuff, and we're super excited to keep developing.
There you go.
New stuff. And then obviously 8 days from today in Atlanta, You'll be in my corner.
That's right.
I think.
I think officially
now. I think now you'll be in my corner.
Yeah, now that we've got that all settled out,
yeah,
it'll happen. I'll be in his corner. Dangerous Dan Murrell. Tom will be in Ben, the boss Bateman's corner. And already I can see people rumbling, the rumbles of like, oh, this is an advantage or not an advantage. This taints. Nah, this is us all getting together, having fun. Whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. But we get the points, and the title still stays within the Finstock Exchange. That's ultimately what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a new era, and, like personal pride, obviously, you want to walk out with that belt.
Of course.
Neither one of us have the pressure on our shoulders of having to do it for the faction.
Right.
Because no matter what, it works out that way.
Exactly.
And that's how we want to keep rolling it.
Right.
Take that pressure off our shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough pressure already.
Mm-hmm.
If we're just fighting each other, then we don't have to worry about what's going to happen with the faction because we get it either way.
That's right. And it's classic gamesmanship, and I love it. This is the level that we're playing at. It's what I tell people. They can all get upset about it all they want. Ben had a nice Facebook post. Dan had a nice Facebook post, and I love it. It's just gamesmanship, little kind of chips, and this is what you want when you're at this level. Barkley did the same thing with Jordan. Magic did the same thing with Bird. Bird did the same thing with Magic. This happens all the time in the greats. When the greats go at it, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady would take little shots at each other, quiet little shots at each other. That's how it is because competition breeds the best out of you, and both of these guys are incredible players and incredible champions. And so this is going to be a fun match. You don't want to miss it. I'm just happy to be able to be there live to watch it. Honestly, as a fan of the Schmoedown, it's going to be a blast. As a fan of both Ben and Dan, it's going to be fun to watch. But also to participate in some small way as a manager, it excites me as well. Yeah. So, yeah.
And my mom's going to be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
I'll be there. My mom will be there. I got some college buddies.
Dude, I'm taking pictures with Mama Merle. That's for damn sure.
Oh, yeah.
I love Mama Merle.
I don't know if this was before. I know
I'm on your time. So
but a little backstage sneak peek. One of my favorite things in the world. This story may have been told. I apologize if it was. But in Houston, my mom came to the show and she came backstage afterwards.
Right.
And a guy was there. and so Christian was going over introducing. He's like, "Oh, this is Andrew Guy," and the guy's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice kid.
He's like, "Oh, hey, Dan's mom. It's so nice to meet you." And my mom just like looks at him and she goes, "You need to be nicer to my son."
And I bet Andrew took it in stride.
Oh,
I bet Andrew loved it.
Oh no, I said no. I said. My mom knew what she was doing.
Of course, she knew what she was digging in.
Oh, I was just standing there, lose. Oh my god, it was my favorite thing ever. I loved it.
That'd be great. Well, if we end up playing the family down the road, I think your mom.
So
look
out, Bateman. If you're not nice to me, you're gonna hear about it from my mom.
Mom Merle will come up on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will help her. I will help her get on that stage. All right. Anyway, thanks again, Dan, so much. And we're looking forward to it. February 29th. Guys, please download that thing, buy it, whatever it is that Kristen's got set up for you to watch it if you can't be there. And if you can be there, there's 10 to 12 tickets left. Go and get those tickets. Sell this thing out. Yeah. Let's have a lot of fun. Let's show the world and let's show Skybound how powerful you guys are as Schmoedown fans and lovers of the game to sell out a live event officially under their banner. So that would be awesome for us to do, and I'm looking forward to it. And I think we're both looking forward to meeting all of you and taking pictures and talking to you guys. You guys are the reason, one of the biggest reasons why we do this and love doing it. So thank you so much for watching this show. Please remember to subscribe to my channel here. If you haven't hit that red button, subscribe. Would love to get to 12,000 very, very soon, and obviously on to 20. That would be the greatest thing ever. So please do a subscription there. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. See all the things I'm doing. See all the content on the YouTube channel as well. Thanks for all your support. And Monday morning, we'll be back 8 a.m. or 8:15 a.m., depending on how I feel. And we'll do another episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. Until then, take care. Have a great weekend. Remember what I say at the end of every show. Whatever you need to do to get through the next second, next minute, next hour, next week, next month, next year, next decade, whatever you need to do, please find your way to do it, because I think Dan and I and everyone else involved wants to see you back again, wants to see you get through it, because you never know what's waiting for you on the other side. It just might surprise you, honestly. Trust me. I think we both speak from experience on that. Love to all of you. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday morning on Mornings with the Outlaw. Take care until then.